Hello, my name is Nathan Smith. I'm the Director of Technology Integration for the College of Education and Human Services here at Utah State University. I also am one of the instructors for this ITLS 5500 or TEAL 5500 course, integrating technology innovatively into teaching. We hope you enjoy this course. We're excited to have you in the class. Anyway, the purpose of this video is to show you about the expectations we have of the products that you'll be creating this semester. We call these presentations of learning. Sometimes we'll call them a technology enhanced experience, either learning or professional experience. The purpose of them are that you'll find and familiarize yourself with a technology tool that would be relevant to what you want to teach in the future, that would be meaningful to you, that would be of worth to you. We want you to come away with something of real value here this semester. So these presentations of learning, you'll be creating one about every week going forward in the course. The scoring rubrics for each one may vary a little bit from time to time, but the concept is the same. So what I'm going to do now is walk you through what we're expecting you to do this week as your presentation of learning. These presentations of learning need to be in PDF format. Why? Because that is a standard worldwide that can be opened on any device, computers, tablets, phones, and still retain all the characteristics that you originally created. It'll keep the formatting and the colors and the links and everything. So this is an example of a presentation of learning that Heidi Esplin did. You'll notice that it's 2 pages and it's interactive. So for example, links actually take you to websites. Videos actually play. So you'll be creating these same kinds of interactive PDFs. In fact, later in this section, I'll share with you several tutorials on how to do this in Lucid Press, which is an awesome free desktop publishing web application that you can get a pro account for free if you're a teacher or a student. I'll also show you how to do this in Microsoft Word and in PowerPoint. We'll have a video on how to upload your own YouTube videos. Anyway, you will be creating these interactive PDF products to share with other teachers that revolve around tools and strategies that you've come up with that will help you in your own classroom. When you arrive at our class website, you'll notice that the lesson experiences are right here, and I'll click on those. And each week we have an experience that we want you to experience. So in experience 2, for example, we start with the standard. These are the ISTE standards that you're trying to meet with your presentation of learning for this week. We'll talk to you about the experience. We'll share our objectives with you. And then each of the sections are the content that you will go through. So here's section A, where you'll learn from Tony Wagner about innovation in education. Let's go back to the front of lesson 2 here, and let's take a look at the assignment. It says, based on the technology enhanced experience you are creating, choose either the Technology Enhanced Learning Experience or the Technology Enhanced Professional Experience assessment rubric. If you click on one of these, you'll be taken to the rubric, and this is a checklist for you of what your presentation of learning needs to contain. So, for example, it should start with a descriptive title and your name. You should thoroughly check it for spelling and grammar errors. Did you double check your PDF version to make sure that everything worked? And so you'll be self-assessing your product by going through this checklist. So I would download it first of all and use it as your guide to what your presentation of learning should contain. These are the actual sections that you'll need. Let's look at how that translates into an actual presentation of learning. There are basically two ways that teachers use technology in their profession. One would be as a technology-enhanced learning experience. So, for example, we have come to UEN.org, which is the Utah Education Network, gone into pre-K through 12th grade education, and went to find a core standard or objective that we need to teach. So, for example, let's pretend I'm a 4th grade teacher, and here's the Literature 1 standard. Refer to details and examples in a text when explaining what the text says explicitly when drawing inferences from the text. So you take this standard and you're going to develop an experience that will engage your students in deep, sticky kind of learning that will involve them in a way that's meaningful and relevant to them. And then you're going to use technology to enhance that. So a technology-enhanced learning experience focuses on teaching students or having students engaged in an experience that meets a particular standard or objective. So here's what you'll need to include in your technology-enhanced learning experience. We want you to begin with your title, and your title should be descriptive enough that somebody searching for it can find it. Should probably include the age or grade level, the tool, and what you're trying to accomplish. The next section should be about your learners. What age are they, or what grade level? What are their learning characteristics? In the scoring rubric, I've linked to a chart of age-specific learning characteristics that will help to answer that question. The next section is about the standards. So in a technology-enhanced learning experience, the first thing you'll want to copy and put in there is that Common Core or state standard that you found on commoncore.org or uen.org. So in the example I used earlier, I would copy from uen.org reading, literature standard 1, refer to details and examples in a text when explaining what the text says explicitly and when drawing inferences from the text into my section on the standards. We teachers seem to have a problem to speak in plain English when we're developing these standards and objectives. If I were to read that to a 4th grader, he would just look at me with a blank stare. So the next part is that I need to interpret the standard in such a way that my 4th graders clearly understand what they are to do, to demonstrate, and that even their parents understand, because they won't understand this teacherese being used to create these standards and objectives. So restate this standard interpreted in plain language that your students will understand. The next part of the standard section is about the ISTE standard. What outcome there do you want for that particular week's standards and objectives that we are focusing on? Be sure to copy those into the standards section as well. So pick maybe one or two from the list that you are trying to achieve in your experience write-up and copy those into the section about standards. Now comes the most important part. How are you going to meet this ISTE standard and teach that core or state standard in such a way that you really engage your students so that they can learn, really learn? That's what we're trying to do. Can you think of any technologies that you can use that will help you with this? We kind of think about this all together. This is the hardest part, but it's the most important part. We want to come up with an engagement piece that our students will be deeply engaged in and excited about, that they want to learn. So here's where the research comes in. Here's where we help each other as a class in our discussions. As you try to come up with this experience and the technology that you're going to enhance it with, these will become the next two sections of our presentation of learning. Your goal is to describe this so clearly that another educator can pick up your presentation of learning and run with it with their own classroom. So as part of the engagement piece, you'll describe the technology that you want to integrate into it, how it will be used, what are its functions, how are you going to use it in your particular lesson. This is where you really help that other educator that may pick up your presentation of learning to try and run with it. Do you have an active link that links to the tool that you're using? How much does it cost? Is it free, open source, or is there a payment needed? This technology piece needs to be described clearly and well. After you've described the technology you want to integrate into your experience, we need some training. So the next section, this additional help section, you'll need to do a tutorial about using the technology that you've chosen. Now, I wouldn't reinvent the wheel. You can find lots of tutorials already created by other people online or in YouTube. Use those if you can find a good one. Otherwise, do a step-by-step set of instructions or your own video about using the technology and include that into this section. The purpose being is to, one, show me that you understand how to use the technology that you've chosen, and two, to help any other educator that wants to pick up your presentation of learning and run with it with their own classroom. The next section is about assessment. How are you going to assess that your students were successful in this experience that you've created? Can you develop a rubric that will make it easy for you to help your students understand how they did as far as completion of the objective or the standard? The next section is about your personal experience with this technology that you've chosen for your presentation of learning. Did you download it and actually use it or try it out online? If you were able to do that, we want your feedback about the effectiveness of the tool and your thoughts about it. What were the pros and the cons? If for some reason you can't personally experience the tool, we want you to go out and find reviews about the tool and share those with us so that we have a clear understanding of the good points and the bad points about the tool that you've chosen to use in your presentation of learning. Finally, your presentation of learning should include active links to resources, screenshots of the software, pictures, diagrams, photos, video, audio, and so forth. We want you to enhance the value of your presentation, your product. These media should relate directly to what you're trying to describe. We'll show you some examples in Experience 2 just below this video. The other type of experience that you can do that is scored on a different rubric is a technology-enhanced professional experience. To understand the difference, let me describe it this way. In a technology-enhanced learning experience, you are trying to help your students learn a specific core or state standard and objective. In a technology-enhanced professional experience, the tool is used more broadly. It's not used to do a specific standard, but maybe a group of standards or a year-long process. So, for example, if I were using calculators in the classroom to teach a specific standard and objective, I would choose to do a technology-enhanced learning experience. If I were using these calculators throughout the whole year to accomplish a number of different standards and objectives, I would choose to use the technology-enhanced professional experience. These are tools that would allow you as a teacher to become more efficient, or tools that you can use with your class on an ongoing basis that help you to achieve these ISTE standards. The scoring rubric for the technology-enhanced professional experience is almost exactly the same as for the learning experience, except that there are a few pieces that aren't necessary, and so they are not there. But we have already explained all of the other pieces in the earlier section. So take some time and go through the sample presentations of learning, and then also take a look at the scoring rubrics. I'll have links to them below this video.